Nostalgia! It's a hell of a drug, and I'm going to tell you how to be a dealer of it. Welcome to Wonder World Comics. I'm Dennis Barger, 45-year veteran of buying everything collectible, 35-year veteran of selling everything collectible, and 20-year veteran of owning a store. I'm going to tell you how I started out. In 1991, I got that fateful phone call that every kid gets. It's from their parents saying, "We're selling the family house and you need to get all your crap out of the basement." I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 other guys, first year of college, and I have to go grab all my stuff. I grabbed my box of Star Wars figures. They were all of them in one shoebox. And a buddy of mine told me they buy them at a store in downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan called Kaleidoscope. I took my little shoebox down there, freshman year of college, and the guy took one look at it and goes, "I'll give you $110 for this box." I was like, wow, all the crap that I played with as a kid is worth money? Okay, here you go. Turns out I had 2 figures that were worth $100 in 1991. The Luke Skywalker with the Stormtrooper outfit and Han Solo with Carbonite. There were magazines that told you how much these things were worth. I had no clue. So all of a sudden, I became a toy dealer. All of my friends came home from college that same year, and their parents told them the same thing. "Hey, get all your crap out of the basement. I want a sewing room. Your sister wants to move into your old playroom." Whatever the reason, they were all told the same thing, and I was there to buy their collectibles. I became a dealer overnight. Then I caught a hold of something that I think a lot of people don't talk about. It's called the 20-year cycle. The 20-year cycle is that cycle that you as a child, as you grow up and become a parent yourself, and then start buying toys for your kids that are similar to the ones you had as a kid, you become nostalgic for the toys you had, and then you want to start buying them. The 20-year cycle worked like clockwork. I was planning out the stuff I was buying as a dealer and holding back stuff, waiting for it to hit that 20-year cycle, all through the early 90s. It culminated when I had the opportunity to be on the front page of the Wall Street Journal in 1996. This was earth-shattering for me. I was 25 years old, just graduating college. I had started this little side hustle over here selling toys on the weekends at collectible shows, and now I'm thrust onto the front page of the Wall Street Journal doing story after story all over the country. My journey took a lot of different twists and turns along the way. I was a booking agent for Star Wars actors, Aliens, Star Trek. I was still doing the convention circuit, but now all over the world, and I'm buying these collectibles, still waiting for those 20-year cycles to kick in. That's when all of a sudden, weird stuff that only had 10 years worth of products started hitting that nostalgia. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the stuff from the 70s and 80s and early 90s were way cooler than the toys they were making then, but they were making nostalgia toys for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 10 years after they came out originally. All of a sudden now there's a 20-year cycle, there's a 10-year cycle. These cycles are overlapping. I couldn't keep track of where they were. I didn't know what was coming next. But the big secret is when the actual industry figured out all of these cycles. Let me explain. In 1978, Star Wars figures came out from Kenner Toys. They came out with a lot of these. They made millions of every one of them. Those first figures, like I said, started becoming collectible in the early 90s and late 80s. That was only 5-6 years after the end of the original Star Wars figures. But they hit their apex in 1996, which was only 19 years after the original toys came out. That's when the company Kenner got bought by Hasbro, and Hasbro decided they were going to start remaking all of the old Kenner toys for the new audience as well as the old audience. This came out a little more than 10 years after the end of Star Wars, but almost right before the 20-year cycle. It was a huge success. They were selling millions of these figures now. They were in the nostalgia market. They didn't talk about it, but it's exactly what they were doing. They were making nostalgic figures for the kids from 20 years ago. So they capitalized on the 20th anniversary of the original Star Wars figures coming out by making different figures. Well, how did they capitalize on the 40th anniversary? By making the same damn figure. They were tired of the people being able to sell the original Han Solo with his original blaster for $50, $75. They wanted to get in on the action, so they came out with this retro collection. Looks just like the original figures, has the original Han Solo. The tooling is this far from being the exact same thing, and the gun is just slightly smaller than the original. Dealers hate these because now all of a sudden an incomplete collection can be completed by something that they have to check every weapon to make sure they're not getting fooled. They made them in box sets, like this one, where it gets 6 of these representing all the original 6 characters in one box. And they were getting $15 a piece for these figures. Way less than the original vintage figure. It helped collapse a lot of the vintage market. I want to tell you a story. Out of nowhere, at our second store, Dystopia, we had a bunch of small, little, cheap digital cameras from the 90s. Everybody remembers these, the cool pics. You know, the 2.1 gigabyte, or, the 2.1 megapixel, the 4 megapixel. I had these things in our cases for like $10, $15, $20. And one day, 3 under 20-year-old young girls came in and said, "Hey, can we see those cameras in your front case?" And I'm like, okay. And they bought 3 of them. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is, but that's really weird that 3 young girls just bought 30-year-old cameras from our display case. Then I got a call from my daughter. And she said, "Hey, Dad, do we have any of these old 90s cameras sitting around?" I'm like, "You know we do. Why do you want these?" Because I knew these 3 young girls are in the same age bracket as my daughter, and they're all wanting grainy, old digital cameras. Something's interesting here. Apparently, it was a trend on TikTok where everybody wanted to have low-grade resolution pictures, and so they dug into our deep recesses of our nostalgia and found that these cameras served the purpose that they were looking for. That's a nostalgia that you can't ever prepare for. But I'll tell you, the companies are still at it. And now, 40 years later, G.I. Joe, not the big one with the Kung Fu grip, the little one. These came out in the mid-80s. Now, 40 years later, I'm twice as big as I was when I was playing with those 40 years ago. Now they've come out with a figure that's twice as big of the original G.I. Joes. These are called the G.I. Joe Classified. They got me. I've bought hundreds of these because every time I touch one of these, now at my size and my age, this doesn't necessarily do it because I'm bigger and these are way smaller. But this makes me feel like I'm 13 years old again, playing with G.I. Joes. I'm buying them all, guys. Nostalgia got even me, the king of nostalgia. I'm not just buying them for myself. I'm buying them for the store too. Sure, I buy the one to open for myself, and then I buy another one to sell if it ever goes up in price. I honestly think a lot of this stuff is going to skyrocket later. I don't think everybody even knows these are out yet. So how do you capitalize on this nostalgia craze? You have to keep your finger in the wind. You have to see what the kids are totally into. You have to figure out how their buying habits are. What are they into? Whatever's hot and popular now, buy up as much of it on clearance. Wait 5-6 years, bring it back out, and see if it's hot or not. Look at what the companies are doing. Monster High dolls came out 12 years ago. 2 years ago, they had a giant surge for the 10th anniversary. These nostalgia craze go in cycles. You have to watch what the companies are doing because their marketing people are way ahead of me on knowing what to do and how to make money off it. All you have to do is pay attention to what they're doing and you can piggyback right in on it. Look, you can go at this one of two ways. You can either be the junkie for this nostalgia or you could be the dealer and make money off of it. I'm most of the time making money off of this nostalgia, and hopefully you can too. You're watching Wonder World Comics. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll be making more videos later.